Why does he hate Christmas so much? He doesn't hate Christmas. He hates what Christmas revealed to him. Every year he watched the world celebrate. Every year he saw families come together. Friends hug. Lovers hold each other close. They taught him what it means to be forgotten. And now he's going to teach them, every one of them. This Christmas, they'll finally understand. They'll finally learn what being alone truly feels like. I was alone every Christmas. Let that sink in. Not just once, not a few times. Every single year. While the world dressed itself in lights and laughter, I sat in darkness. While families gathered around their tables, passing dishes and sharing stories, I stared at empty walls, while children ripped open gifts and screamed with joy. I listened to a silence so loud it made my ears ring. Every Christmas, alone, forgotten, unseen. Do you know what that does to a person? Do you have any idea what it feels like to watch the entire world celebrate while you sit in the shadows, asking yourself what's so wrong with you that nobody even tried to remember, wondering why everyone else gets warmth while you get nothing but cold, wondering if you even exist at all, or if you're just a ghost everyone learned to overlook. I used to think it was my fault. I used to believe something inside me was damaged, something unlovable, something that made people turn away. I spent years trying to repair it, trying to improve, trying to be enough. I reshaped myself endlessly, hoping that just maybe this would be the year someone noticed. This would be the year I got invited. This would be the year I finally belonged. But the invitations never came. The phone never rang. The door stayed shut. And every Christmas morning I woke up to the same thing. Nothing. No one. Just me. And the silence. And the crushing weight of being completely, utterly alone. They were out there. I knew they were. The people who said they cared. The people who called themselves friends. The people who smiled at me during the year and made promises they never meant to keep. They were out there, celebrating, laughing, living, while not one of them thought to include me. Not one of them paused their joy long enough to wonder if I was okay. Not one of them cared enough to send a message, make a call, knock on my door. I was alone every Christmas, and they made sure of it. At first, it broke me. I won't pretend otherwise. In the beginning, I cried. I sat in the dark and let the tears fall, asking what I had done to deserve this, asking why the universe decided I didn't deserve what everyone else had. for answers. I prayed to gods who never replied. I screamed into the void and got nothing back but the echo of my own desperation. But tears dry, pain fades, and something else replaces it. Something colder, something tougher, something that doesn't cry anymore, because there's nothing left to cry for.
They taught me how to be alone. They trained me in isolation. Every Christmas they forgot me was another lesson in self-reliance. Every empty chair was another brick in the wall I built around my heart. Every silent night was another step toward becoming something they never expected. They thought they were ignoring me. They were shaping me. I learned to stop needing them. That was the first step. I learned to stop waiting for the phone to ring, for an invitation to arrive, for someone to remember I existed. I learned to stop hoping, because hope turns toxic when it's never rewarded. Hope becomes a chain that keeps you tied to people who don't deserve you. So I cut that chain, I burned it, and I felt myself get lighter. Then I learned to stop feeling. That was harder. Loneliness cuts deep, even when you think you've built walls high enough to keep it out. But I practiced every Christmas. I sat in the silence and let it wash over me until it stopped hurting, until it felt normal. Until the darkness became more comfortable than the light ever was. And finally, I learned to stop being human, at least the version of human that needs others, the version that craves connection, the version that breaks when it's left behind. That version of me died somewhere between the early years and the later ones. I don't remember the exact moment. I just know that one Christmas morning, I woke up and felt nothing. No sadness, no longing, no pain. Just cold, pure, clean, powerful, cold. That was the year the monster was born. That was the year I stopped being their victim and started becoming their reckoning. And they didn't even realize it yet. After that, I watched them from the outside, from the shadows they never bothered to look into. I watched them celebrate their perfect little lives. I watched them hug and kiss and exchange gifts like it was the most natural thing in the world. I watched them take for granted everything I had been denied. And I felt something new growing inside me. Not anger. Anger burns too hot, too fast. This was colder, deeper. It didn't explode. It calculated. It waited. It planned. They had no idea what they were creating.
Every Christmas they left me alone. They were feeding a fire they couldn't see. Every time they forgot me, they were sharpening a blade they didn't know existed. Every year that passed, I grew stronger, colder, more certain of what was coming. And now, it's here. This Christmas is different. This Christmas, I'm not sitting alone in the dark. I'm not watching through windows. I'm not waiting for invitations that will never come. This Christmas, I'm the one moving. I'm the one with the plan. I'm the one who's been preparing for this moment while they were too busy celebrating to notice. They'll know what alone feels like. I promise them that. Not because I'm going to hurt them. Pain is too quick, and pain fades. What I have planned is worse. I'm going to show them what it means to be forgotten, to be invisible, to reach out and find nothing but empty air. I'm going to teach them every lesson they taught me, and I'm going to make sure they never forget it. One by one, they'll feel it. The calls that go unanswered, the messages that get ignored, the invitations that somehow never arrive, the doors that stay closed no matter how hard they knock. They'll sit in their homes waiting for someone to come, and no one will come. They'll check their phones again and again, and there will be nothing. They'll wonder if they did something wrong. They'll wonder why no one cares.
And for the first time in their lives, they'll understand. This is what they did to me year after year. This is the gift they gave me every Christmas while they were busy enjoying their own. This is the silence that became my only companion, the emptiness that became my home, the loneliness that became my teacher. They created this. Now they get to live it. I don't need their apologies. Apologies are just sounds, and words mean nothing from people who only speak them when they're facing consequences. I don't need their explanations. I already know why they did it. Because it was easy. Because I didn't matter enough. Because they never believed I would become anything more than the forgotten shadow in the corner of their lives. But I did become more. I became something they can't ignore anymore. I became the result of every choice they made, every time they chose someone else over me, every time they decided I wasn't worth the effort, every time they looked through me like I wasn't even there. It all led to this, to me, to what I've become. They wanted me alone. Fine. I learned to be alone. I mastered it. I became so comfortable in isolation that it turned into my strength. While they needed each other, I While they grew soft in their warmth, I grew hard in the cold. And now that hardness is coming for them. I used to dream about being included. I used to imagine what it would feel like to sit at their table, to be part of their laughter, to belong. But those dreams died a long time ago. What replaced them was something else entirely. Not dreams, visions. Visions of them sitting where I sat, feeling what I felt, knowing what I knew, alone. Truly alone. With no one coming to save them. They thought loneliness was just a small inconvenience, something you feel for a little while before someone texts you back. They have no idea. They've never experienced real loneliness, the kind that stretches for days, weeks, months. The kind that makes you forget what another person's voice even sounds like. The kind that makes you question whether you're even real anymore.
But they will. I'll make sure of it. This Christmas won't be about revenge. Revenge is too small, too childish. This is about education. This is about teaching them a lesson they should have learned long ago. Actions have consequences. Cruelty returns. The people you ignore don't always stay ignored. Sometimes they grow. Sometimes they change. Sometimes they become something you never saw coming. I am what they never saw coming. They'll sit in their homes this Christmas, surrounded by their things, and they'll feel the emptiness I felt. They'll reach for their phones and find no messages. They'll look at their doors and see no visitors. They'll listen for laughter and hear only silence. And in that silence, they'll finally understand what they did to me. Not because I told them, not because I explained it, because they're living it. That's the only way people like them learn. You can't explain loneliness to someone who's never felt it. You can't describe the weight of being forgotten to someone who's always been remembered. Words don't reach them. Only experience does. And I'm going to give them an experience they'll never forget. Every Christmas I spent alone made me stronger. Every year of silence taught me patience. Every empty room prepared me for this moment. They thought they were destroying me. They were building me, piece by piece, year by year, until I became unbreakable. And now I'm going to break them. Not with violence. Violence is loud, obvious, easy to recover from. I'm going to break them with silence, with absence, with the slow creeping realization that no one is coming, that no one cares, that they are completely, utterly, devastatingly alone, the same way I was. They'll try to reach out, they'll try to fix it, they'll call the people they took for granted and beg them to come back. But those people won't answer. Those people will learn what I learned long ago. Some connections aren't worth keeping. Some people only remember you when they need something. Some relationships are built on convenience, not care. And when convenience disappears, everything else goes with it. I didn't make them this way. I just showed them who they really are. I held up a mirror and let them see the truth. They were never as loved as they thought, never as important as they believed, never as connected as they assumed. They were living in an illusion, and I shattered it. You're welcome.
This Christmas, while they sit in their empty homes, wondering where everyone went, I'll be somewhere else. Not celebrating. I don't celebrate anymore. But not suffering either. That chapter is over. I'll be at peace. The peace that comes from knowing you've become powerful, self-sufficient, whole without anyone else. They gave me that. In their cruelty, they gave me the greatest gift of all, freedom. Freedom from needing them. Freedom from wanting their approval. Freedom from the desperate hope that one day they might include me. I don't want to be included anymore. I want to be feared. I want to be respected. I want to be the lesson they tell their children about. The story they whisper when they think no one is listening. The warning about what happens when you leave someone alone for too long. I was alone every Christmas, and I survived. I transformed. I became something they can't ignore, can't forget, can't escape. Now they'll know what alone feels like. Not for a day, not for a week, for as long as it takes for the lesson to settle in, for as long as it takes for them to understand that the world they thought they lived in was built on the backs of people they ignored. People like me. People they assumed would always be there, waiting in the shadows, accepting whatever scraps they threw. Those days are done. I'm not waiting anymore. I'm not taking scraps. I'm not sitting in the dark hoping someone will remember me. I stepped out of the shadows, and now I'm casting my own. A shadow so vast it blocks their light. A shadow so cold it freezes their warmth. A shadow so permanent they'll never escape it. This Christmas, they'll know what alone feels like, and they'll have me to thank for the lesson. Merry Christmas to everyone who was ever forgotten, ever ignored, ever left alone while the world celebrated without them. This one's for you. Rise, transform, become something they can't ignore,
and make them feel every second of what they put you through. They earned it.